Ford presents a Very Venture Christmas.
This is Gary Butterfield.
This is Cole Ross.
And
Krampus is here.
I'm Santa, the special little dude. Hey, just a little late.
Just
You almost timed this out, right?
Almost. If we started the show about a month earlier, we would have been good. But,
Perfect.
We've talked about Christmas games on Abject Suffering in the summertime and a little bit afterwards. It's fine. It's just a little bit later. It's still good.
Yeah. The holiday, the Yule, and even the Venture Brothers creators are not immune
from making us special. And it's okay.
It is fine. There are parts that are okay.
It is satisfactory.
Yeah. So this will be a shorter episode because it's a shorter episode of the show, of the show The Venture Brothers. And just as a little bit of admin, next week we will be doing our DVD season 1 wrap-up stuff. So if you have things to say about season 1 of The Venture Brothers, hit us up.
Yeah, Duckfeed.tv/contact.
Yeah. And let's get into it. This was written and directed by Jackson Publick, and this originally aired on December 19th, 2004. Christmas appropriate.
Yeah, absolutely. They were on time. What's our excuse? Just different schedules, probably.
Yeah,
anyway.
Different schedules. They did this during a huge lull,
right?
In the seasons and stuff. So they just had like a bunch of time off and were looking for work. Whereas podcast rests for no man.
No such thing. No such thing for us. But yeah, Jackson Publick, he had the idea. Like he thought, hey, wouldn't it be cool if like all the shows on Adult Swim, if we all did like a little something and did like a Christmas special, like with a bunch of different segments from each show. Which has
he's going to include one from his comic as well.
Yes.
Was the idea. The 7-minute short he had an idea of. But he didn't want to just say like, hey, what if I did my comic no one's ever heard of? We'll do a Venture Brothers wraparound and then all these Adult Swim shows could join us.
Yeah, and it didn't go through. His idea for that 7-minute short was going to have this wrapper of Brock telling Christmas stories while their plane was downed in Bethlehem. But the other shows didn't come through. Because they like produce on different schedules and they're all over the country. Like it's not all at William Street, It's just hard to get everybody on board for all of that. And also I can't imagine like a 12-ounce mouse Christmas special.
Sure. Yeah. It's a very Squidbillies Christmas.
I can see a Squidbillies. I was about to say I can't imagine an Aqua Teen Christmas, but I can. Like they had a Christmas episode. Be wild, like drew a tree on the wall with crayons and taped garbage to it.
They could do anything on Aqua Teen.
Yeah.
So they originally were going to do a 7-minute short, and then they were like, hey, no one else is going to do this with you. Make it 11 minutes, because that's how long every other show is other than yours on the series. So they did this, and this is primarily a Jackson Publick joint. Doc Hammer hates it and only wrote the part where they use slurs, like the skeevy part. It's very funny for him to proudly proclaim in the book, like, I hate this. I barely even wrote it. I just wrote this part. And it's like the grossest. It's like, you mean the part with the you stand-in hitting on a teenage girl? That's the part that you're...
That's what you're going to go for? Okay. Yeah.
Cool.
Right.
Cool, fella. He thinks it's depressing. It's not super good.
Right.
There are some joys to be found in the beginning and end of it.
Yes. Yeah.
And
this is already going to be a short episode, but I don't have much else to say about the generalities. Do you just want to talk about it?
Well, I want to really quickly send you a little message. They also started their tradition this year. And shortly after the Christmas in 2004, they started their tradition of doing Christmas songs. Is voices and the characters. And these are like, of course, wall-to-wall intolerable. It's just, what if a Christmas Carol was sung by characters in the Venture Brothers?
But I mean, in the one we're going to talk about here, the first one, by the characters with the least appealing voices for singing.
It's incredible. It's just so unpleasant. So they released a Christmas single that's the Monarch and Dr. Girlfriend singing Little Drummer Boy / Peace on Earth.
Yeah, it's literally the Bing Crosby, David Bowie thing. They even do the dialogue from the beginning.
And if you never, like, they're right in observing that is a very funny video. Like, if you've never seen that, it's really good.
It's the 1977
really
Bing
weird.
Crosby Christmas special where, like, David Bowie walks into the house and, like, they're talking about old music versus new music and stuff, and you know, like, oh, you young kids, how do you celebrate Christmas, blah blah blah. Very corny.
Yeah. And Bing Crosby starts singing Little Drummer Boy, that classic. And then David Bowie just, like, comes in louder than anything doing Peace on Earth. One of my favorite things to do during Christmas karaoke when we used to do that was get somebody to sing that as a duet with me and do the David Bowie part, and then just, like, step up to the front and push them out of the way and really loudly, because that's how it is in the video, version. You know, Bing Crosby's all polite, then David Bowie just goes, "Peace on Earth," like shouting from the fucking rooftops. It's very good.
Oh God,
those are all on YouTube, and they're audio poison.
Yes, you can go and just do a search. Find the Venture Brothers ones. It's it's a curiosity.
Eventually, the two-headed fella from
Dragoon and the Red
Guild.
Mantle. Yeah,
Dragoon and the Red Mantle do the Heat Miser, Cold Miser song, and those are horrible voices, but they are actually musicians.
Oh, cool.
In their lore, because the secret origin of those guys is great.
I love it.
So let's get into the actual A Very Venture Christmas.
Let's do it. I love this opening. Because we've got Rusty in pajamas standing in a graveyard. It's a Christmas Carol. He's talking to the Ghost of Christmas Past, like doing the dialogue. And the Ghost of Christmas Past pulls back his hood, revealing that he's Brock. And oh no, it's my grave. Tell me it's not my grave.
Yeah, and what do you think, genius? Because it does have your name on it, and stuff. I also, I didn't, not to poke a bunch of holes like CinemaSins,
Ding,
a Christmas Carol, but it is very funny that he's like, is this the specter of things that will be or things that may be, and then sees his grave, and I'm like, my dude, Scrooge, it will be.
He's rich. He's never gonna die. Come on.
Yeah, like it's definitely will be. Like, all of us, we're lucky if we get a grave,
right?
Like, that actually means a lot of fortune, because otherwise you're just kind of like dying in a, under a pile of newspapers in a New York apartment or something. Only the lucky get graves.
Right.
So I'd love to see my grave.
Count your blessings, you miserable old fuck.
Yeah. It's, Jesus, Scrooge. Being such a douche. So he wakes up from this nightmare. He's hugging Brock. He wakes up, he's hugging the husband.
The pillow.
He does the Scrooge thing.
Yeah. He's like, oh, I'm light as a feather, just a completely changed person. And he does the Scrooge thing, but also, like, the little device comes out and shows that his heart has grown 3 sizes. So, okay, so we got Grinch in here.
It's all the Christmas things at once.
Yeah. Because as he's like asking Hank what day it is, his nose starts glowing and he starts flying around.
He flies past the statue, and they sculpted Christmas hats onto the statue of him and his dad. Really, really cute. They pass by Helper, who's dressed up as Tiny Tim, which is real cool. And then, Hank, who's there, like, Dean looks up and is like, well, what do you say to you? And he's dejected. And he does the Nobody Wants a Dean in the Box.
Yeah.
From the Nobody Wants a Charlie in the Box from the Rankin Bass Rudolph.
Yeah, one of the most objectively depressing pieces of media in the entire world.
Just horrible.
Just miserable.
He wakes up on a TV remote, from this dream. So dreams within dreams. And he's been flipping through the channels watching Christmas stuff. And they're doing these little improv from Christmas scenes in the background, and one of them is going, "Scrooge, you weird little man." So that's very funny. Like, it's not about a weird little man, but that is basically what happens.
Oh yeah, if he heard that at some point earlier in his life, he probably would have straightened up and flied right. Yeah. Flied right, flown right. But Dr. Venture says, "Oh, thank God! I thought that I turned into a complete." I think he says "fuckwit," something like that.
Yeah.
I looked at the mouth flaps in the animation. It didn't seem like he hit a hard F there. So
yeah, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
We get a slightly Christmasized intro with sleigh bells and red and green and snowflakes falling.
That Dr. Hammer, Dr. Hammer, Doc Hammer, hello, Doc Hammer hated making.
I'm afraid it's cancer. I'm afraid it's cancer. That was not very good, Billy Quizboy. That was like really duck-like and nasal.
Yeah, I know.
Oof. I don't know how that came out. My mouth was very dry when I did that.
Can't do it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's difficult. Why is Pete White so much easier to do, fella?
It doesn't like the getting the actual throaty lisp that Billy Quizboy has is hard to do without it. Yeah, it requires a lot more.
A Canon ST or something.
Yeah, like Billy Quizboy lives almost entirely in the consonants, and that's harder to imitate. Whereas Pete White, it's all in the vowels. You see.
Yeah, a little easier to stretch it out and get the right cadence.
Yeah.
So the next morning, Rusty walks down to the kitchen where Brock is trying to get a gift for Dean. He's asking if the toy company has the Joker Mobile in stock. Mm-hmm. Did you know, Cole, you could buy the Joker Mobile right now on Amazon?
Can you?
Yeah. It's pretty dorky looking. It's very funny. The idea of the Joker driving this car is very funny to me. It is like a baby blue torpedo shaped. It's a little bit like Homer's car.
Okay.
But with the Joker's face on the front.
The Joker Mobile.
One big shark fin.
The Joker Mobile that I'm seeing, it's like a steamroller that has Batman and the drum, and it has a wrecking ball on the back of it. Huh.
Oh, well, I don't know. We might have different Joker Mobiles. This is the Joker Mobile that I assumed because it's from the old timey catalog. I'll put it in your Slack here.
Yeah.
Hopefully that won't destroy the recording.
That thing, no, that's really that's bad.
It's quite the Joker Mobile.
Here's the one that looks. It's the Joker Mobile from the Batman movie. This is a better.
Oh, gotcha.
Not the steamroller. This is the better one. It's like a Lego toy almost. Put it there for you. This is an actually cool looking Joker Mobile.
Yeah, that looks like something like a self-respecting Joker might, might ride. Yeah, it's a lowrider. The Joker Notorious Lowrider.
It's got the golden chicken on the front as the hood ornament. Yeah, no, the Joker Mobile that Dean would have gotten is bad. It's lucky that he didn't get that Joker Mobile.
Yeah, presumably. Brock is talking about how he's Doc is like, oh, you're still shopping for the boys, huh? He's like, well, I'm going to give Hank my old bass guitar I restrung it, which is canon. This is where Hank starts learning to play the bass. But Dean is more tough to shop for.
Yeah.
And he's been leaving catalogs all around the house, but they're catalogs from 1976.
Sears catalog for 1996. I love Rusty's response to this, like, I guess that green machine I ordered won't be coming. And it's like, hey, like, he doesn't need a big wheel. He's a 15-year-old boy, Doc.
He can have 4 big wheels. Or he was getting it for himself. Like, just flash forward to that Colonel Gentleman intro where it's like toys that Colonel Gentleman wanted when he was a lad. Mm-hmm. He's just listing them. Really great.
But any invocation of the green machine is very funny to me.
I like the green machine.
Yeah.
Big Wheel is owned.
Mm-hmm. I love those things.
So Brock catches Hank rooting through his closet looking for Christmas presents when he comes across his porn stash of Christmas themed porn.
Yeah.
Which is pretty fun. At the same time, Dean decides to call the Santa Story hotline very secretly.
That plot point, I mean, it was, it's still crazy watching the Simpsons episode where Lisa was addicted to the Corey hotline.
Montessori. Yeah.
Quarry. Yeah. But just the idea that there are these hotlines, I think that was probably even outdated when this came out. But then again, there were those like party lines that you could call into.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Girls are hanging out.
Yeah. Hot singles waiting line. For you. Yeah.
Yeah, and you just hey, ladies, yeah. I bet you there's still like a Santa. I bet you I can still call a Santa hotline.
Yeah, kids get podcasts now. They get Santa podcasts in the middle of watching ass porn.
They get Santa Minecraft, gamer word explosions.
Gamer word Christmas explosion.
It's a gamer word. Heated gamer moment Christmas 2020.
Ho, ho, ho. Merry beep.
Yeah.
This is unacceptable.
I like these Christmas porns. And I like as they leave when Hank's like, hey, baby Jesus is out of the manger. And they cut the camera just going down to Brock's fly with him checking it and then right back up in 1 second is very good.
That's a good euphemism for somebody's fly being
funny.
down. Yeah.
Totally. Jesus out of the manger. Really good.
But no, there's a nativity scene that he's talking about. It's a venture tradition that you don't put the baby Jesus into the cradle or whatever it is. I don't know, whatever that thing is. You don't put him in there until midnight, right? So they're going to wait for that, but that'll be a big problem because a shot reveals that the table that the manger scene is on is completely rigged with tons and tons of C4.
Yeah, explosions, because the Monarch's agent, Tiny Joseph, is there.
He has a very specific use.
It's very good. There's also, I love Brock covering for his porn thing here. I forgot about this, where Hank is like, what are those elves doing that lady? And instead of answering, he goes, they're dwarves, Hank.
It's a preferred term.
Yeah. The Monarch has this plan when they do this at midnight. It's gonna make this huge explosion. And there's some relationship stuff. He was getting it for Dr. Girlfriend as her gift, basically getting him a thing.
Yeah, which is a classic thing. And she got him a super thoughtful gift, like a scale model of the venture compound. It'd be fun. But like he's using the scale model of the venture compound to demonstrate his plan. So he peeked.
Very funny.
He took it early. I love what he says. It will set off an explosion that will deck his halls with bowels of venture.
Yeah,
that's really clever.
Very good. Very good. So we go over to the venture compound for their swinging Christmas party.
Lots of extras here.
Everyone who's appeared basically.
Yeah, they've got Mandalay. They've got Mr. Brisby's bodyguard there.
Yeah, no call forwards.
Right.
At this point. And I imagine this is very sad because at this point, imagine if we only got the first season of the Venture Brothers and we get so little Pete and Billy Quizboy.
Yeah.
And the one thing we get is them calling each other gay and hitting on a teenager.
Yeah. Because it opens up our introduction here is Pete and Billy scoping out Triana, canonically a 17-year-old, something like that.
Yeah, young.
Yeah, young.
Too young for Pete White.
Who's he's Doc's age. He's early 40s.
Yeah, they're in college together. Right. Just skeeving on her, and it's kind of funny. He's like, I was the first college DJ to play the Bauhaus. That's funny.
Yeah,
but it's gross
Bauhaus.
When it's in service.
Yeah,
it's gross in what it's in service to.
Yeah,
and then we get Dr. Orpheus. My daughter's maidenhead is not a prize to be won. Screaming it, which is a fun delivery, but also just no shit.
Yeah. Not to be a parody of left Twitter talking about age gaps or whatever. This even seems out of character for Pete.
Yeah.
Too,
well, and then it bummed me out because it made me think about the commentary when they're just which Venture Brother character would you bang? And I'm like, man, I'm glad that you guys eventually grew up a little bit.
Yeah.
Because this is kind of a bummer.
So. Yeah. So while this is happening, Dean is up there listening to the Christmas Storytime hotline again, but the story ends unsatisfyingly. It's about a camel that poops toys or something like that.
Yeah, it's a camel eating the straw and left many toys. He's just what a, that's a fake out. What a crappy ending.
Yeah.
Here.
But they've maxed out their dad's Diners Club card. Diners Club card is the comedy option whenever you talk about a credit card.
This is something I've mentioned before, but I think is just very funny. So I worked at a job for a long time where I dispatched tow trucks, and then also worked for a shitty credit card service where the idea was you would register all your credit cards with them, and then if your wallet was lost, you could just call one number, and we would manually cancel all your credit cards.
That seems like a scam.
It was a scam. Cool. And it also, people signed up for it through getting mail that was send us a piece of mail back if you don't want to sign up for this thing.
Oh, geez.
So it was, it was a bad job. But we got a big list of all the possible credit cards
Okay.
that people have. And there's one of them called dining a la carte. And that was one of the funniest fucking things. Like, I just imagine somebody like holding it forward to a waiter with it between their fingers. It's like all chic. It looks like a score bar, like it's like very like sexy font. It's like, I'll be dining a la carte. It's like very funny to me.
I'm looking at that. I'm trying to do a search for a la carte, but it's just pulling back a la carte and people misspelling
or
a la
Alucard.
carte. Oh, you mean
I'll be
Dracula's
dining
son?
Alucard.
Yeah.
It was very funny. Like, me and my friends used to goof about that a lot.
That's great.
What a shitty job. Even though I did bring in a tiny black and white TV that I bought to play through Final Fantasy IX at that job.
Oh, at the at the dispatch, not the credit card one, right? Yes.
Well, it was the same job. It was like
What?
a call center where we did both at the same time.
Oh shit. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I did. Okay, I'm trying to piece together Gary's life story here, mostly so I can answer your credit card, like your identifying information.
Yeah. That was the time my mom changed her maiden name to.
Yeah, but
When I get married, I'm changing my maiden name.
but Hank says, well, why don't we just pull out the Grinch? Like, oh, well, we watched or read that last year. Instead, they rifle through book that Dr. O brought, figuring, we saw him use it to make gingerbread cookies. Maybe there's a story in here. No, this is a spell book.
Yes. It's not the Necronomicon, which you've seen before.
Mm-hmm.
And they read some words from there. They find a page that looks kind of Christmassy and read it. And they do the chant from the movie Excalibur.
Oh, I didn't recognize that.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very... Well, I saw it online.
Gotcha.
I didn't recognize it either. Like, I've seen Excalibur. The main thing I remember for Excalibur is that Arthur has sex in full plate mail.
The clanking tells you it's working.
It's like a powerful fucking member, dude. But they do this summoning.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. They do this summoning spell.
Yeah.
Here, Dr. O catches them like right at the last moment, realizes what's happening.
Casts a little spell that puts like a metal plate with a lock over Dean's mouth, but Krampus is on his way. Yeah.
Reference. But it is too late. And Dr. Orpheus has to explain to Rusty what's going on.
Yeah.
Here.
We joked about it last week, but we should probably say it here. Like, Krampus had like a real revival in, let's say, the early New Tens. Let's call it that. Just as people were talking about, like, the first time that I saw it come up was like on the League, but also like it was a huge thing in just like general online culture kind of stuff. Isn't Krampus like a major boss in like the Binding of Isaac and stuff? Like, it's just kind of everywhere.
Yeah, Krampus was in the water.
Yeah.
At the time. So this is a little bit ahead of its time. This was probably, maybe for me, but for many people, probably their first Krampus.
Yeah, if they lived outside of the the countries where Krampus was part of the myth.
Yeah, the country story is real. And Krampus is one of those things where it's like, this is a cool idea. It's just been done to death.
Yeah. So for anybody who's unaware, just because we're old and we're taking it as granted that people who are listening were aware of this stuff in the early 10s. The Krampus was basically this evil devil goblin kind of guy who traveled alongside Santa. And while Santa was giving toys to the good kids, the bad kids, they didn't get a lump of coal. They were either kidnapped or tortured by this goblin guy. And like the design on this monster is pretty fun on the version of Krampus who comes in. Like, he comes in with a bunch of like Dutch kids in his backpack.
He's got two little German kids in his backpack.
Yeah. It's like a wicker basket on his back, and they're like crying and saying things in German.
It's really good. And Rusty's like, well, this can't be real. Like, Santa's not real. He's like, no, Santa is real. He was killed in a jet in 1963, which is really great.
One of the most horrifying ways to die is walking into the tail rotor of a helicopter. One of the funniest ways to die.
I feel like it's going to sleep.
One of the funniest ways, just like anything being sucked through a jet engine is funny to me. So the idea of Santa being sucked through a jet engine with all the reindeer and just sprayed out the back. Whoa!
It's probably a pretty nice way to go as well, because it'd be quick.
There's a guy who survived that. Look it up. There's been videos of him. Yeah, like they were doing an engine test. It was basically like a Hitman level. Yeah, he got sucked through and he lived. Like he missed the rotors.
Oh, that's incredible.
He was fucked up, and it was a long recovery. But like
1 in a million.
I'd go buy a lottery ticket, dude.
Yeah, would you want to recover from that? Like, or would you want to survive that? That's because like if let's say I was going to get sucked through an engine, the main reason I'd want to do it is for a quick and painless death.
Okay.
Like my idea that my head would be pulverized so quick that like the parts of my body that feel pain would be gone by the time anything would register. You know, but if you that's a big gamble. That's like, you know, like a reverse, like Gatling gun, you know, Russian roulette. Because if you survive it, oh boy, like that's, you know, you are in trouble.
Jet. I want to who's this guy? When did this happen? How the luckiest sailor on Earth survived being sucked into a jet engine.
Depends on how you measure.
It was.
I feel like it'd be really lucky. I think every sailor who didn't get sucked into a jet engine is probably a little bit luckier.
Yeah,
if I had to guess, like I'm gonna go as far as to say that I'm luckier than that dude for having never been sucked into a jet engine.
Yeah, it was during Desert Storm. Okay, it was.
At least it was during one of the good wars. Like it was worth it. Thank you for your service.
At least it was short. Petty Officer J.D. Bridges. Yeah, he was pulled through. Miraculously, Bridges' shoulder wedged against the nose cone as the engine slowed, and he managed to remove himself from the powerful intake space, escaping certain death. Okay, so he wasn't pulled through; he was just pulled in. I thought he was like
he could have crashed a jet.
I thought he was shot through.
No, he had to extricate himself. Boy, that's dark. that's scary. Well, but for the grace of God go I. That happens to everyone in every life, a little rain.
I just keep on whistling past the runway. Yeah.
Yep. Every day it doesn't happen is a good day. My standards are exceedingly low.
Oh, fuck. But yes, Santa is dead. In this universe, but Krampus still goes around. He was initially cast into Purgatory during Vatican II, which is still an amazing concept to me.
Yeah, that's a great joke.
Yeah.
I love when Rusty's like, what kind of kinky Christmas spirit is this? And he's like, well, it is Germanic in origin.
Yeah. He's like spanking Dean or something.
Yeah, he's spanking like everyone until, you know, eventually he's like, you know, he will not rest until he's punished the wicked. And Doc says no one's wicked. And then Krampus picks him up and starts like scourging him and humping him. And the performance from James Urbaniak here is really funny, because it looks like he's in a lot of pain, like getting his head slammed. He's going, come on, what's the... Oh, geez. Oh, no.
But Brock comes in. Again, he's a bodyguard. He's going to protect the body. Starts pummeling Krampus. But then the clock strikes midnight. It is no longer Christmas Eve. Krampus is off duty, so he starts walking out. But as he passes by the creche, as he passes by the nativity scene, picks up a little old baby Jesus, puts him into the manger, and the house explodes.
Yeah, and that, you know, you think that's going to be the ending. However, Brock wakes up from a dream in the X1 with a thermometer in his ass. From Helper.
Oh, yeah. Rusty wakes up. Rusty wakes up. Yeah, he's got the thermometer in his. I guess he was unconscious because of the plane crash.
Yeah. The been a long time since the old rectal thermometer.
Yeah,
it was part of my life.
I feel like it's a thing that mostly happens to babies and kids
and cats.
Yeah, the past couple of times I've gone to the vet, I haven't had to go in or haven't been able to go in because of COVID. But yeah, I've been enlisted to hold my kitties down.
It's one of my favorite things that consistently happens to a cat, like just that expression. They're like, oh, "This ain't right."
Yeah,
like there's a really funny expression they get on their face.
Yeah,
no, don't care for this.
Go look at my go look at my social media. See the picture of Dottie, my kitten, in her inflatable collar, and you'll see that expression.
Yeah. So anyway, he wakes up and he's like, you know, he thinks it's all a dream, like we're a dream within a dream within a dream within a dream. And then he's not exactly, Doc. You know, they crashed the X1 into hostile territory in Bethlehem.
Yep.
And the which is a great, this is a great concept. The kids pop up, they're really excited, like, this is the best Christmas ever. He took us to Bethlehem, we saw where Jesus was born, and there's a magical gas fire blasting out of it.
There's magical God fire blasting out. Sorry, I wrote that out. Like, as he says that, and Dean says, just like in the 10 Commandments. And Brock's like, yeah, we also hit a gas main. So they didn't see this, they're just hallucinating it. Yeah.
Well, or the gas, it's fire from the gas main explosion.
Yeah. True.
I think is, I love Brock's delivery. Like, he doesn't get a lot to do in this episode.
Nope.
But his delivery at the end here, where he's like, Doc's like, well, now what? And he's, well, that depends, Doc. If the Israelis find us, I have contacts in the Mossad, so we should be safe. Whoever the PLO gets here first, my Arabic's a little shaky.
Yeah.
Just real badass Wolverine vibes to that.
I'm just like, oh, who do I have friends with here? And Rusty says, oh, well, like, no, who are you kidding? They'll love us. The X1 runs on pure plutonium. So he's going to give plutonium to the PLO. And Dean says, and that's what Christmas is all about. Which
the PLO is the Palestinian Liberation Organization. In case,
yes.
Someone doesn't know, like I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I figured that's what it was, but I don't. I know shocking a little about Israel and Palestine.
Gotcha.
I know that whole area is a little iffy, but other than that, I basically none of my business.
Crunch patties. Yeah.
Like mostly, it's not my business. So
yeah, and setting aside anybody's opinions on what's going on over there, just the idea that Doc Venture is so immoral that he will give plutonium to anybody.
Of course.
It's funny.
And that's the Christmas special.
Yep.
It's fine. I'm glad it's 11 minutes.
Yeah. I was surprised because I had the DVD in, and on the PlayStation interface, it doesn't show you the progress by default. Like, I was surprised when it was over, but also, like, pleasantly surprised, let's say. I was like, yeah, that probably showed me about all that it needed to do,
Yeah.
It's real scattershot. Like, it's not plotty. It kind of just seems like it was something they did for fun, but it's hard for me to imagine anybody having fun working on a Christmas special.
I mean, I can imagine it just being like, I bet you when they did the CBS special thing at the beginning,
it
was probably fun just to kind of be part of that tradition and do all the montage stuff in the beginning. I think Doc is overreacting when he's like, I hate this.
Yeah.
Or that's depressing. Like, I don't think it's really either of those things. And the only thing that skeeved me out in it, you did.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. But it's fine. So we're going to cover all those specials that you mentioned. This is an exhaustive podcast. So from the ladle to the grave.
The shallow gravy story. Yeah.
The shallow gravy story. Look forward to that. And that means we'll be doing the Halloween and all that jazz.
Yeah.
Next episode is going to be our wrap up. So we're going to talk about the DVD deleted scenes, special features, the relaxation station, the communication station, that whole bit, which is very fun. Season 1 special features. And then we'll be going right into season 2.
Yeah.
Which I'm really excited about.
Me too.
The intro to season 2 is one of my favorite things they've done. Them blowing their budget on that song.
Yeah.
I think it's very funny and good.
Love it. So if you're listening, you know what to do. We have a Patreon where you can go and back us. That is patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv. Hear episodes of this show early and also get a whole bunch of other stuff. Yeah. And just support your boys. Yeah.
You can leave us ratings, reviews on Apple Podcasts. That's very kind of you. People who have already done that, we appreciate it. And until next time,
go Team Venture.